My name is Gus. So I'm one of the engineers within the Cloud Management Operations and Automation Business Unit. Together with my colleague at the back, Christopher. You want to say hi? Hi. So it's going to be a very intimate session today. So we'll be covering some of the latest and greatest within 8.18. If I can expand that. And then I'll be doing a demo today to go through some of the capabilities. I was going to do slides, but it's not really great doing slides. Sometimes seeing and feeling, looking at some of the advancements in the product itself is more powerful than just talking about it all day. Could be boring. So here's a quick agenda. So that's just a little bit about me and my background. Disclaimer, very important. It's VCF 9.0. It hasn't materialized yet. So again, some of the information here that I'll say may or may not happen. So don't come holding me responsible, right? So just a quick disclaimer for you guys. So today here is about giving a demo. So there are a couple of quick wins I'm just going to go through very quickly. I mean, when 8.18 came, there was a whole lot of advancements within the product itself. I can stand all here and talk 2 hours talking about all the features and functionalities, but I've just picked a couple I feel which is important to you. We'll go through a demo of that, and obviously we'll go through some of the main changes with VCF 9.0 we've got with regards to fleet management, so certificate management, configuration drifts, audit, events, diagnostics, and then I'll end up with what the future looks like in VCF 9.0 and some of the capabilities that are coming to comprehend what we're doing today. Any questions before I start? All good? How many of you are using 8.18? No?
We're stuck on 4.5 because
Jeez.
the basic was batching.
Okay, all right. So you never seen 8.18. All right, wonderful. Okay, great stuff. Okay. So I think Joe spoke about unifying our portfolio of solutions, right? So the goal here is to take over the typical public cloud, right? So you go to AWS or the likes of Azure or Google, they have one console to do everything, right? It's the same idea, the same methodology that we are taking, the same approach that we are taking today. So we want to have one simplified console to be able to do everything today. As it stands today, we still have those disparate silos with regards to our management planes. So we have our area automation, we have operations. There's the NSX team that has the VNI or networking site, AKA networking site, right? Doing their own networking capabilities as well. There's area lifecycle, right? With regards to, managing the lifecycle of all the different components of your VCF estate. That idea going forward, and then you've obviously got SDDC Manager, right, for deploying your workload domains and your management domains. The goal is VCF Operations is going to encompass all that. So most of those capabilities that you do enjoy today with automation, not automation as such, but operations will be all coming into VCF Operations. So SDDC Manager will be coming into VCF Operations. Certain services within VNI today, or networking site, will become to VCF Operations. Area Operations is obviously the main foundations of it. And then some capabilities and services being migrated into that as well. So automation and operations will be tightly integrated, right? So once you set up your VCF, either using brownfield or greenfield, the next phase, I'll show you a slide on that, is to say, hey, go about managing those workload domains and then go about consuming your VCF cloud. With some of the use cases that I'll be sharing today. So go about creating all those blueprint templates for those customers and then use automation operations to manage the data aspect of it. So that is what about VCF Operations. And then what I'll just do is I'll quickly show you the demo of some of the capabilities we have within VCF Operations. That's going to help you simplify and consume your VCF 5.2 as it stands today. I'm going to switch slide very quickly, and then I'll move on to a demo one. All right. Okay. So apologies, there's some technical difficulties here, so I'll be moving slides in and out, but you get it just, I'm supposed to mirror it, but hey. Okay. All right. Can you guys see my screen? All good? Okay. So this is still the naming convention, still hasn't changed, but future will be VCF Operations. So this is the look and feel of the new VCF Operations console, right? And the goal here is to kind of simplify. In the past, you've got probably multiple vCenters, right? Getting into all those vCenters, understanding what's going on within all those vCenters, very, very difficult. Even having an understanding of how many vCenters I have today for customers, very, very difficult. The goal here is to kind of centralize that. And the first part is obviously the homepage, right? Is to kind of give you at the first hand, right, what is my inventory? How many vCenters, how many VCF instances do I have in terms of hosts, storage, you name it, my ports. Where within my, within the world, I'll say, are my locations of my vCenters or my VCF instances, as an example. We have information regarding the operations of it as well. So again, looking at findings. So within all the different components of my VCF estate, right? So within my SSD manager, are there issues with it, right? Is my host service, are they pingable? Is my VMs pingable? Am I getting issues with my file systems? These are all log signatures that we do connect together with changes in system properties, and then we serve this to you as findings. And I'll drill that into that at a later stage. We have information regarding config drifts. So config drifts, basically, I have my standard policy, my base template or my goal template, right, as to how my password policies should be, either 90 days or my configuration baseline template should be for my vSphere or my vCenter, if there are any changes within that. So if in the next couple of days, next couple of months, somebody's gone in, I've hired a new person who's going to make changes to any of those policies, it should be able to flag that to me very quickly. And I'll walk into what that looks like. Joe talked quickly about license management. Again, this is one of the main, certificate management, sorry. This is one of the main areas that has been a hit for customers today. And I'll go into it how that adds value in terms of you consuming your VCF estate. And then we have information regarding across my VCF instances, across my workload operations. Am I running out of capacity? Are my resources very exhaustive, right? There is more information around capacity, information about my overall capacity across all my my VCF instances or my vCenter servers. There's information regarding, this is very similar to public cloud, right? So again, what are the services that I'm consuming? Do I have a list of what those services are? And again, information around cost, information around compliance, which of my objects are compliance, with regards to those frameworks that are applicable to my industry. And again, where are most of my alerts coming from? Then this is high-level overview. In addition to that, we've also simplified the pane. So for those that are using the older, aka vRealize management console, again, we've simplified that. So you can see on the left-hand side, we've tried to kind of put things to make it more realistic, I'll say. So you still have the whole inventory, which is the object view, browser history stuff within the old console. This is something that is new. And then we've tried to put everything under operations. So anything that we'll play with or configure. So dashboards, views, reports, all that stuff, compliance, configuration drifts, right? Anything we can configure, applications, we've all put that under operations. We've simplified that. And then if I should go back again, we then have the administration stuff and then information about cost as well. We've also added certain capabilities around dashboards as well. So these are all new in 8.18. So on the homepage, you have the launch pad. So the launch pad is to help you maneuver your way across the platform very, very quickly, right? So if I want to look at cost, I could go into the cost tile, look at cost. If I want to do capacity planning, if I want to look at compliance, if I want to look at the different objects within my VCF stack, it's very, very easy for me to move to those different elements and then obviously review that in total, right? So that's the whole idea here. But what we're also doing is a lot of customers spend time and effort trying to create dashboards that makes sense to their business OKRs and SLOs. Now, the whole goal here is if I create a dashboard, I always need to go into left-hand pane, go into operations, go into dashboards, and go look at either my favorites or the ones that I've created. What we've also done going forward is to kind of bring that capability into the dashboards. So if I go into dashboards as an example, and there are certain dashboards that are important to my business, it could be network operations center, something similar to that. So here is looking at my VCF workload domain as an example. If this is important to me as a customer, right? And I want to be able to review this very quickly every single day, if that's part of my job, ideally, I want to have access to this very quickly. So we've added capabilities to either add that to the homepage or add it to your favorite. So if I add that to the homepage as an example, right, when I go back into the homepage, every single morning, once I have a cup of tea, right, I have the capability to just go straight into the dashboard and then review what is important to me. So again, you can add up to 5 tiles or 5 dashboards on the homepage. And this is all some of the new capabilities within the platform itself. Let's go into inventory. So this is previously aka the old object browser stuff. So we've added new capabilities. So what we've added is what we call the basic view and the detailed view, right? So this is what we call the basic view. So basic view gives you information holistically across your VCF stack, what you've got in terms of inventory. And then obviously you have your different vCenters, right? You could then drill those into and go into the detail view. So I could go into this particular vCenter and that will take me into the detail view. And then here I have all the whistles and stuff around my vCenter. But what is important in 8.18 is we've also introduced this piece here. So I can look at an object in context of something else. So I can say that this is my vCenter. I want to look at my vCenter in context to all my data stores, as an example. I don't need to go into the object itself and maneuver my way. What are the different data stores in there, right? I can launch that very quickly, go into the object itself, and then from here, if I go into the data center, I can then review that across my data store. I can do the same across networking. So if I want to see all my VLANs, my uplinks for that particular object, right? I could go into it and then review that very quickly, rather than maneuvering my way through the old way of doing things. So again, we've simplified things, making things very easy for you guys to consume. So I can see all my networking stuff, my VLANs, my uplinks, my switches, port groups, etc. And again, we could do that for custom groups. So if this particular object is part of a custom group or a custom data center, I can see that. And again, if there are any other integrations, so have I integrated on a particular virtual machine a telegraph agent? Have I installed a telegraph agent? Is that part of whether open source or managed, right? What else are the applications? Have I installed management packs on that, right? I could just go to that same object and then review that information very, very quickly. So that's a quick overview of some of the capabilities that we've added within the platform. The main ones are around diagnostics. So this is whereby we're looking at fleet management, right? So within my VCF stack, all the different components. So I've got my vSphere, my SDDC manager, my NSX, my vSAN. I've got my ARIA components as well, right? My automation, ARIA operations, lifecycle, right? All those capabilities. How do I know there are issues with all these different components? In the past, these would have been silos. Different engineers managing these different estates, right? Handling their own kind of alerts, dealing with those alerts themselves. We want to provide a centralized plane for you to be able to consume your VCF. So one of the main key features around diagnostic findings, I'll go into findings very quickly. So again, not only are we looking at the log signatures and the changes in the system properties across all the different components of your VCF estate, but we're also looking at the changes in the capabilities themselves. So if I've got PDRS or DRS switched on, right, and I'm moving vMotion VMs within the cluster itself, are there problems with it? Would that flag in findings as an example, right? So these are all capabilities, right? Am I creating snapshots? Are those snapshots failing? Those are all capabilities that will flag up within findings itself. So in addition to the capabilities and flagging those capabilities to you, there is also information with regards to information. So again, am I meeting all of my security advisories that I should be worried about? In terms of my findings, what are the ones that are critical to me? Because I want to prioritize those, and I will come to certificates very, very quickly. So let's go to findings. Right. So this is my own lab environment, by the way, so I've only got very few stuff, but hey, that's the thing. So within findings itself, right, I'll break it down by the different security advisories, and again, if I've got more components within my VCF stack, so whether it's vSAN, NSX, vSphere, right, that will flag up within the environment itself. And what is very key is I've got options in here. So if I look at, as an admin or enterprise IT admin or VI admin, I look after 3 vCenters, right, within my region in London, as an example, right? I could filter out by those 3 vCenters, as an example, and then just review what is important to me with regards to those 3 vCenters. I have options to filter out by criticality, by the security advisory, if I'm part of the InfoSec guys, right? If I'm looking at the capabilities itself, right? So am I getting failed snapshots or vMotion's not going well? I could actually put filters in here and review those accordingly as well. So these are all capabilities that can apply as filters for me to get to the bottom of the information very quickly. And then once I've identified the finding within my environment, I could then go into. So again, how many of you use Skyline? So you use Skyline? Did you use Skyline? So none of you use Skyline as well, right? So as of October 24th, Skyline went away, right? Again, right, okay. So the whole goal is all those capabilities that you saw in Skyline is all coming back in-house. So that will be all centered around diagnostics, right? So Skyline was a combination of area operations for logs, and then Skyline Health Diagnostics, which was a management pack of VFR, right? So again, all those capabilities are moving in-house. So hopefully within VCF 9.0, majority of those capabilities will be in diagnostics, and as the more iterations go on, we'll bring more of those capabilities back again. So again, all these are stuff that you did in Skyline, looking at the finding itself. So a summary of what the finding is, a description of it is, what components, what was the last time it got discovered, right? And then most importantly, what is the affected object, right? I want to isolate that very quickly and fix it. And then most importantly, this is where the value is from Skyline, right? Well, the goal was, hey, I have a problem. Can I fix it before actually taking the phone or calling the support team and say that, hey, can you review this? So all those capabilities in Skyline with regards to amalgamating all the logs and sending it to support teams, those capabilities will be coming back to VCF Operations. And then here you have all the external links to your KB articles, which is very important. So how do I go about fixing it? Somebody would have fixed it, would have been reported by Broadcom, and that is how we go about doing it. So all those capabilities are coming back to diagnostics. We then have information with regards to security advisories. So again, if there are any flags within my CVE libraries, as an example, that I'll flag in here as well, we could go into the capabilities themselves. So again, every single one of these, you could drill down. So again, if I'm building VMs, and those VMs are failing, what are those VM? Concept of vSphere, happy VMs, right? Yes. If I'm having issues with those will flag how many of those, the consistency of those, and therefore every single one of these I could go in and investigate what is actually happening, why that particular VM is failing. And then lastly, certificate management. Very important, right? Anytime I show this slide, customers are very happy because it's been a pain for most customers in the past. Now, that is all within diagnosis today. So again, we give information as to all the certificates that have expired, those that are active, and then we give you a breakdown of what those according to the components of your VCF stack. So if I'm an NSX guy, ideally I just want to go look at my NSX stack, deal up with those certificates before I start getting some screens to say that, hey, yeah, you can't really get into your console or whatever stuff. So ideally, I could look at those and prioritize those. I then have the information of all my certificates in here, right, with regards to the appliances, my FQDNs, the type, the status of it, whether it's active or expired. I can then filter it out. Let's see if I could get it down here. There you go. So I could then filter it by status, whether it's expired, by the appliance, by the category, very important. So again, what I can specify here is that an STS certificate, is that a root certificate, is that a certificate, platform certificate, and then obviously, once I've identified those, the type of what that certificate is, I could then move into the appliance itself. From here, go into the appliance itself, either run script to generate a certificate or generate one from a CR authority or CA authority, and then obviously apply those certificates accordingly as well. So the goal here is to give you the information to say this is what is wrong with it, and that you then need to go apply the certificates. Is this something useful? Yeah. Cool stuff. So that's all about diagnostics. More features are going to come in VCF 9.0. I'll show you a couple of slides, get into the end. I've got about 20 minutes. Get into the end, and then I'll show you some of the new capabilities coming in 9.0. Also, in addition, we have what we call the configuration drifts. I believe that Joe mentioned about that very briefly. So again, I create my base template of what my SDD center should look like, or my default policy, apply that to my base template. And ideally, I want to just see, are there any changes? Are there any changes? At any point in time, are there any changes with regards to all the different components of my VC? It's very hard to do that. Normally, you have silo teams doing this, but having that holistically within one single pane helps. So again, very easy to create templates. So we'll create a quick one here, but I'm not going to go through the whole stuff. So we give you a name, do test for now, and then we go to next. This is how easy to create. So what is the vCenter you like to apply this template to, right? So we choose that vCenter. We go to next. It will ask us to choose, again, what is the configuration settings for this? So right, we have the options to choose if we want to go for the appliance itself. Right, look at access settings. Right, so we can look at DCIe, whether it's shell, there's problems with that, SSH. We can look at CIIP, if that is important, whether that's enabled or not. We could go into the network itself. Right, there's a whole list of things we can do. Look at the firewall rule policies within our vCenter to see whether there are changes within those firewall rules. Proxy settings, 6 logs, you name it. And you could do the same for our authentication authorization as well. Right, so looking at password policies, lockout policies, identity sources, token policies, STS, you name it. Right, so I could choose any one of these. So I could then say, hey, I want to go for authorization authentication. I want to select that. And then what is the policy that I want to apply that to, right? So again, once I choose that policy, right, I'll choose the February the 19th, that's the vSphere default policy. I'll get a copy of that policy. Again, you can take this, you can customize this to see whatever you want your estate to look like. And then obviously you can then create that policy going forward. Once you've done that, once you've created a policy, yes. If there are any drifts, you should be able to identify that very quickly. So here we go into drifts. And then if there are any drifts, that will flag up very quickly. So created this in the week. So I created a very simple one, went to my vSphere, vSphere client, made some changes to the password policy in terms of the maximum length of what that should be, right? So the default was a 20. I changed that to fit 25. And then once I hit update, I could then see the drift very, very quickly. So again, the idea here is for you to have proactive view of what is actually happening within your vSphere, within your vCenter estate going forward. And this is across all the different components of your VCF stack. So not just your vSphere that will apply to NSX, that will apply to NSS, vSAN, right? Is that something very useful? Very, very useful, yeah. Audit events. So we're talking about accountability, we're talking about traceability, we're talking about user movements within my estate. No, not just my vSphere estate that I'm responsible for now. Now you're looking at the wider picture now, right? What is happening within my vSAN, right? Do I have any vector attacks within my vSAN, right? Are things being changed I'm not aware of? Who's logging into that vCenter server? Who's got permissions to that virtual machine? Do they have the right permissions to access that virtual machine? The goal here for audit events to be able to bring to light what is actually happening. So there's a couple of things in here. So the first obviously is to, and this is all based on our operations for logs, right? So taking those log signatures of the activities happening within those different components of your VCF stack, and then reporting those changes within the log signatures themselves. So again, we apply so the first thing we'll tell you is any of your vCenters connected to our operations for log, because that's what we're pulling those information for. We'll tell you how many of those vCenters are connected to that, and then based on that, you get instantly changes happening within your VCF stack. You then have the options, right? So if I should have a breach, as an example, because of vector attack or firewall rule change, and there's been an attack, I have the options to actually say that I want to look at the last 1 hour if I knew when the problem occurred, the last 6 hours, so I could set a custom range and be very detailed with it with regards to when that breach happened, as an example. And then from here, I then have information with regards to the different events happening within my estate. Now, those events could be broken down, again, by different filters in here. So if I know what the server is, right, I could go and then drill down into that particular server. I could sort it by criticality to look at the ones that need immediate attention itself. I could look at the object type. That's very important to me. But most importantly is the event category, right? Is this a firewall issue, right? Is this a permissions issue? Are people running out of STS tokens? Is this an access control issue, right? Is it a cryptography issue, right? And again, I could drill into every single one of these. We could take one as an example. Let's go into cryptography as an example. Hit apply. Right. And then here we could just review one of those. So here we can see we got host TPM attestation failed, right? For that to happen, 2 reasons. One, there's either data desynchronization between the host and your vCenter server, and that will make sure that alarm comes on. And then 2, the secure boot for your host. If that's disabled, that is also going to flag as an alert going forward. So again, these are things that are deep within vSphere that you might not know it all, but it might flag up, and then you have to then go and deal with it again. So again, the idea here is to give you the information regarding this alarm that this has failed, and then you have information with regards to the host, right? The object name, who's got access to it, who did what, when was the last time that got observed, what is a snapshot of the description of what the problem is with regards to the alarm itself, and then you have what we call related events. So what is that related to, right, within the chain, within my VCF stack, right? So again, we're looking at tax events, we're looking at the host connections, and again, this is to help you quickly diagnose what's going on with regards to that alarm sounding, or with regards to your host TPM attestation failing. Does that make sense? All right. Okay. Any questions so far? There's a lot to talk about, so. Okay, let's go back. Operations. License management. I have legal licenses. So my own stuff I bought with my last ELA, all my ARIA, shoot licenses, you name it. Some people still have the vRealize stuff, right? Can I apply that to my VCF? Can I have visibility of that within VCF Operations? The goal here is to also simplify, right? So again, you have all your usage overview of all your different licenses in here, right? How much capacity you're consuming, your usage, your unused capacity, so looking at waste, right? So for the licenses, am I actually getting the best out of those licenses? It's just being applied to just one VCF component and that's it. How many instances is this? What's the number of cores? Again, there's a lot of information in here. And then from here, what you can then do, let's look at the, is it working? Oh, there you go. There you go. Right, this is more user-friendly, I'll say. Right, so we got all the different licenses, right? We got your tons of runtime, and again, we can see the usage. We got some, right? We got your vCenter, vSphere standard licenses or instances. We got the licenses applied to those instances, and you could drill further down into those licenses and see what are the different components or the objects being applied to. So the goal here is to kind of give you a quick snapshot overview. Am I actually getting the best out of those licenses? Am I running into overages? Am I consuming more than what I bought? Right? That is the whole concept of what we're hoping to achieve here, right? And then for the licenses themselves, right, we could go into any one of those licenses, and then we could then see, okay, that is for NSX. Let's scroll down to the objects. And that license is being applied on these vCenter servers, as an example. So again, the idea here is to bring your attention to all your licenses at a go across your VCF stack. Are you optimizing those licenses in terms of usage? Are they wastage? Do I need to buy more licenses for certain aspects of my VCF stack? And then for every single one of those, I then have the information to go and review the metadata around those licenses together with what components of my VCF stack those licenses apply to. Yeah? Cool stuff. You then have usage analytics. Oh, I don't have much information. So this is where you select a license, it shows you the usage trend and stuff. But there you go. Let's see. Let me see if I could get one for. Do we have Tanzu runtime? Maybe. Anyway, there you go. Got some data in there. Right. So again, we look at the usage trend over time, and then we're looking at license usage as well. Looking at usage overages and the overall capacity for that license. Is that meeting? Is that converging? Do I need to buy more? Is that okay for the next couple of years? This is to kind of help you manage all your licenses. And then obviously you also have the capability to bring your legacy licenses as well, right? So all your stuff you bought in the past with your previous ELA, right? Can you add those license keys here in here? So you can add those license keys in here, and then you have then information about the overview of those licenses, whatever license groups those belong to. I don't feel I have much in here as well. Well, there you go. Yeah, anyway. But yeah, any questions so far? Is this all helpful? Is there the appetite to move to 8.80 now?
I've been wanting to do that anyway, but as I say, we kind of got stuck thanks to asynchronous patching messing us up.
Right, I see. Oh, okay. Wow, okay.
I can see features in this that one of my customers obviously is working for Broadcom. I'm not using it directly, but one of my customers on an earlier version, we've had to do dashboards to cover some of these pieces in one shape or another, or it's on
Yeah.
the backlog that they want us to do it. So I can see if we can get them to 8.18, then there's the advantage coming out of the box with some of the capabilities.
Yeah.
In our case, we'll still have to tailor it slightly because they don't look at their overall estate in sort of the reporting. They use custom data centers.
Yeah.
But you know the metrics are there, the properties are there, which we hadn't got previously, like the SSL certificates. You know, we've got a workaround in place to be able to do that, and that's going to be out of the box, which will massively improve our ability to get that as a feature going forwards.
Cool. How many of you are doing capacity planning? Whew. Finger in the air. Yeah? Guys, I will advise you to leverage the engine, capacity planning engine within VCF Operations, or ARIA Operations for now, VCF Operations in the future. Finger in the air isn't great. I'll wait till it runs out and then I'll buy more capacity, or yeah. Some of the new capabilities within the platform itself is, in the past, customers would have said, well, I'm getting all these recommendations. Why are you recommending this to me in the first place? So we wanted to provide some clarity around that, right? Why are we actually making those recommendations? So for any right-size recommendations we have today, if we go into that recommendation itself, we give you some information in regards to why we're making those recommendations, right? If I could get that up there somewhere. There you go. It's somewhere there, isn't it? Yeah, there you go. Right. Now, capacity plan is all based on policies, right? And I'll walk you through very quickly what that means. So we'll tell you why we're giving you the recommended size as to why you should either upgrade or downgrade to a set of CPU. But most importantly, the idea here is to provide you the mechanism. Oh, what's my policy going forward? The idea here is to provide you the mechanism as to why that is actually happening. Let me get back to it. Let's go into one of these. Okay. All right. Is it working? Okay. Yeah. For some reason, I can't really get to the policy. I don't know why. Chris, any help on this one? Yeah, I was trying to get to the policy. So where do I get to the thresholds, conservative and aggressive and all that stuff?
Oh, it's in the policy section now, so.
Yeah, I'll click that. And configurations, isn't it? Go to operations and then should be in configurations, isn't it? Yeah. I think it's my admin privileges. It's my privilege.
Your filter set, top right, you've got it set to password.
Ah, sweet. Perfect. Ah, there you go. So I could edit one of them. Let's see. Let's see, can edit the policy here. Okay, let's see. All right, cool stuff. Okay. All right. So this is one of the ways. I'll move to another screen. So there's a couple of concepts in here in regards to time remaining. So time remaining is about when my resource is going to be very exhaustive, very important. Capacity remaining, when am I going to run out capacity? Having this switch or settings tuned is very, very important. Right? It tells you when your future forecast and when you're actually going to run out of capacity going forward. I was trying to get to another screen, but it's okay. I've only got 2 minutes. In the past, the recommendations that we gave to customers were like, oh, well, this is based on average. Well, I had a customer, a UK betting customer. It was like, well, we have Grand National. On Grand National, everything peaks, and then it dies off. But your recommendations is just averaged. So that's not true reflection of my future forecast, right? So again, we have to go through multiple permutations of creating custom groups, fine-tuning the capacity planning engine to suit them, whether it should be more conservative, whether it should be less conservative. I wanted to show you, but I got 2 minutes, but it's okay. But most importantly, what we've now introduced is what we call custom metrics. So customers can, in here, set their own custom metrics, right, to reflect what they actually want to see. So I might look at utilization, but I might exclude certain aspect of it. I might exclude certain data stores because that's not part of it. There are certain days that are no Grand National is happening. So I could just look at that predefined time and then do my forecasting around it. So I get a true reflection of what's going on. So this is one of the nicest new capabilities within VCF 8.18 that customers use today, because what is in the platform today works, but it's not reflective. Every customer is different. 2, your environments are different. Production is different from test and dev. You can't use the same capacity engine to reflect both environments. You need to customize it, right? So that is why you need to fine tune that going forward. So again, this is another nice piece of addition I wanted to show to you, but that's the capabilities in 8.18. VCF 9, there should be more in there, hopefully, as we go through the iterations. So that's it. Thank you very much. And any more questions? I think we are done. Thank you. Any questions? Was that helpful? Any feedback? I see.
Some ideas to go and look at.
I see. Okay.
I think getting everything under almost your single pane of glass, which I know is a stupid phrase, but everybody likes to use it, as opposed to having to go between the various different products, is definitely going to be very useful.
Yeah. 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 All right. So thank you very much. And that's it for the session. Thank you.